Hello, Urban Evader Editing here. I just want to clarify that this was originally meant to be an analysis video at first, but then I realized that as I'm editing this that my footage feels more like an episode review, so if some points seem like I care too much for a simple review, then that's why. So, alright, bye! Hope you enjoyed the video. Well everyone, that happened. Now, before I go into anything about the review and whatnot, I just want to take a second and give major props to Vivian Medrano and all of the Spindle Horse productions. Going from YouTube indie series to Amazon is astonishing, and I gotta congratulate her small team for the big impact given to me and many others through their hard work and resilience. You can see the crazy change of animation quality in these two most recent episodes than anything else Hell of a Boss has created yet, and it's honestly astounding. Congratulations on your shows, and thanks for the beautiful displays of animation you have given us for the past 5 or so years. By the way, it's honestly crazy to think Vivian has published Has-Been Hotel for around that long. We've been here for a while, huh? Well now, let's get into the review. To get things out of the way, the basic plot of the episode is that after the events of the full moon, VEROSIKA Mayday invites Stolas to a anti-Blitz party, where everyone Blitzo has wronged gets to celebrate. Classy. Because of this, Blitzo goes on an apology tour to make up for his wrongs. First, oh my god, my chair is so loud. Sorry about that. First, I'm gonna bring up the good. I bring up the good first because there's much more than bad, and it's way simpler to talk about. The first and most important pro I wrote down when watching this episode is VEROSIKA as a character. Everything about her slays. Her redesign, her voice, the pompous and crazy attitude she has when drunk, killer background vocals, and nice and caring to everyone when it's necessary to tone it down is awesome. In the argument with Blitz upcoming, she calms down, which is really nice, and I'll bring it up later. Props to Christina V for knowing how to portray her emotions so well for a well-flashed out character. The second positive that I can add is that this episode has some of the funniest visual gags in it. The burning of the Blitz PNG all the way to drunk Stolas had me dying of laughter. This background character hits a bong non-stop for 3 minutes while Stolas and Blitz were arguing. It was so random, but it was awesome. The apology tour montage was also really good. Having clips of the Cherubs, Lululand, and the Bouncer at Ozzy's, my Season 1 heart was set ablaze. They even brought in Dennis, who is one of the background characters in Season 1, Episode 8. And we can't forget the best part of this whole montage. Martha and Ms. Mayberry are dating now. I don't care if she's meant to be in Cannibal Town or whatever, that is hilarious. People have been shipping this since day one, and those people are thriving on Twitter now. Hats off to this episode for getting me to genuinely laugh out loud a few times. Up next is Stolas. I'm serious. I don't know why, but all the dialogue he says while he's drunk is great. Although he was heartbroken from Blitz, he's found a new group of friends from this party. Although people don't want to accept it, this is healing for him, and Stolas doesn't need Blitz to be confident in himself. Stolas and VEROSIKA's friendship is heavy on why I added Stolas in this episode as a pro. Their dialogue every time they're on screen rocks my world. Her extroverted party animal nature to his reserved-esque dialogue is to die for. I'll love every time he's on screen much more after the events of this episode. Nearing the end of the episode is Blitz's last apology in the apology tour, that being VEROSIKA. Not only is their argument feel good, but the writing and payoff of previous foreshadowing is impeccable. In Season 1, Episode 6, which is one of the most popular episodes, Blitz has a hallucination of people who torment him, and VEROSIKA says verbatim, "Yet you still shove away anyone who gets too close until they resent you." That line perfectly checks out as VEROSIKA admits she love-bombed him during their relationship. Although she can be seen as rude for making this party, it isn't a thought of good. She wants to make people heal in some way because she knows that Blitz won't do it. And at the end of all of that resentment, she still feels sorry. At the end of the day, the only way someone could hate that much is if they hated themselves just as much, if not more. She realizes that he projects his emotions onto others and accepts the apology begrudgingly, but also with joy that he's trying to better himself. Beautifully written. Alright, now let's get into why this episode can ruin the rest of Season 2. Of course I'm exaggerating, but before I start, I just want to say that these are hypothetical concerns that I have for the upcoming episodes. These bad parts aren't blatantly bad, but I feel like mentioning them because it could grow into something worse. Okay, first things first is that the actual apology tour is the side plot while the Stolitz drama is the main plot, when I feel like it should be switched around. Y'all may disagree with that, but you gotta realize that the actual apology tour montage was 1 minute. Blitz went to Martha's door at the 5-minute mark, and he apologized for the dead producers he killed at 5 minutes and 55 seconds. It just feels like all this Stolitz angst and conflict should have been put more predominantly into the full moon episode. You know, the one where that should have also been the main plot. This is also another general fear I might add, but I think that Hell of a Boss might go back into old habits and juggle A and B plots poorly. This episode did it fine, but the Stolitz argument being around 5 or more minutes killed me. Respectfully, you're not going to make the cherubs a menacing threat, so what was the point in making them last so long in the last episode? The last bit of bad is that, at the expense of Stolas being so good in this episode, Blitz gets mentally abused. If the show, by the end of Season 2, doesn't bring up Stolas' apparent flaws, then I am going to be livid. People don't want to hear this, but Stolas can be a hypocrite at times. He doesn't think Blitz is lesser than him, which is good, but he has never told him that until this and the newest episode. You can think what I just said is false, but I know I'm right. Stolas constantly calls him his imp, which is condescending. Concepts like this are brought up in that song in this episode, but it amounts to nothing by the time this episode is over, so whatever, I guess. I'm just anxious that if and when Stolas and Blitz get back together, the journey to make the ship sail might be rocky, or it could be a full-on landslide. Well, everyone, that was Apology Tour, and I enjoyed it. These have been some of the funniest moments in Season 2, and I hope that the stepping stones this episode made can pave the right direction for the last 3 coming episodes. 8.5 out of 10. It was amazing, but had very slight nitpicks that drew it back from perfection. And before I sign off, just remember that although it'll be a couple of months before the next few episodes, don't think we'll be in another Hell of a Boss drought anytime soon. In between, every month we're going to be getting a new short, so that'll be fun. We're all praying for a Ms. Mayberry and Martha short. Fingers crossed! Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.